Think about it. Rugby league isn't really about tries and goals, is it? Not really. It's not about trophies. It's not even about winning. No, rugby league is about people. It's about experiences, friendship, adventures, memories. And it's true you cannot buy those things, but you can organize them. And that's what we've been doing here at Catalan Sport Tours since 2014. Whether it's a World Cup, Away to the Dragons, Las Vegas, Cup Finals, State of Origins, Paris or Dublin, we'll organize everything so you can focus on making memories. Because that's what rugby league's all about. Find us at catalansporttours.com.
Morning League fans! We are back for another week on rugbyleague.com, where too much league is never enough. This is the start of a bumper weekend with, 10 live games or something like that coming up over the next 4 days. So stay with us. Now, this program is going to be an interesting one because we're going to replay a couple of interviews from last weekend, which so far only aired live. One was Shaun Mielekamp from the West Tigers, the CEO of West Tigers. That interview was done at halftime in our NRL game last week, West Tigers and the Warriors, and really pleased to be bringing that to you again. And the second one was quite a newsworthy one with the co-owner of the London Broncos, Darren Lockyer. We grabbed him at full time in the championship game at Ebbsfleet on Saturday. So, we're going to play that during the next hour. We're going to be hearing from people involved with the two matches today, one of which we are broadcasting, but the first one will give you score updates only. That's Penrith at home to the Brisbane Broncos, and that is at the end of the next hour, so 10:50 UK time that game kicks off. We'll bring you some sound grabs from the coaches there. And also tonight's a big one. Mick Gledhill will be calling that one for us. And that is Bradford at home to Wakefield. Intriguing game there, and amazing in Super League that the bottom three places are not filled by any of the three promoted teams this year. They've all managed to rise above the bottom three places. So that's a great effort from York, Bradford and Toulouse, who of course beat St Helens 46-0 last Sunday. Unbelievable. At St Helens. Absolutely unbelievable. So with that, I guess we'll move on to the birthdays, rugby league birthdays today, being the 16th of July. And Michael Searle, the former chairman and owner of Gold Coast Titans, he's 58 today. Happy birthday to Michael Searle. Apollo Perolini, 57 today, Western Samoa, and also, of course, St Helens, where he made his name. Brett Goldspink, the great Steelers prop, who, like Jerome Luai, if I remember correctly, he signed for the Perth Western Reds for the 1995 season, and there was released by Illawarra at the end of 93 and spent a year with South Sydney. And Dean Skiffletti was another one who did that. There are a few of them. The Steelers were very much like West Tigers now. They didn't want guys around who were going to be definitely gone the year after. The Tony Smith, that is the English Tony Smith, not the Aussie Tony Smith, best known for his time at Castleford, Wigan and Hull FC. He's 56 today. Wendell Saylor, there you go, there's a big name in rugby league. Brisbane and St George Illawarra, and of course Queensland and Australia. 52 today, the Big Dell. Phil Luluai, who played for Cronulla and Salford, 49 today. Todd Byrne, run down by Scott Sattler in the grand final, of course. Great big heavy metal fan, I remember Todd Byrne, liked his heavy metal. He is 48 today. Richard Horn, who was there last week as coach of Doncaster against London. He's 44 today. There's a lot of birthdays today. John Green, one of the early Western Australian products in the Premiership. He's only 41 today. Played for the Bulldogs, St George Illawarra and Cronulla. Who else have we got? Can we roll up with one more? Ken Maumalo from the Warriors. Also played at West Tigers. 32 today. Beretta Faramo, he was in the news too. He was also involved in that game. He started an incident which resulted in Isaac Miskey being sent off from the bench in that 68 to 18 win by London over Doncaster. So there's a lot of birthdays today in Rugby League. Hope they all have a great day. We've got a great program coming up for you over the next hour.
Well, we're going to welcome to the microphone no longer the interim Chief Executive Officer, but the new and improved Chief Executive Officer, Shaun Mielekamp. Welcome to the microphone. We're so happy to have you here. Have you got hearing there?
No,
hang on a second, we'll get you there. Give me a second. And
that's all right. No dramas. Got me now.
Got you now. Beautiful.
No, thanks for having me on, gents. Obviously, we're just sitting right in front of you, so...
Hope you're enjoying the call. We're the only three listening. It's all good. Mate, how have you found the transition from being... I mean, you've been a part of Rugby League for a long time. You've been a part of sport for a long time. And here you are now the Chief Executive Officer of a very proud club, formed with two great foundation clubs. How are you finding that?
Yeah, look, it is an amazing club. It's one that I was particularly drawn to when I had the opportunity to come back to Rugby League. We got a lot of work to do here at this club, but it's something that I'm really prepared to roll up and dig in and have a real crack. And it is nice after starting in Rugby League 20 years ago to be back in the game.
Where did you start? Was it Penrith?
No, I was at South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Okay.
So I was at South when Russell and Peter Holmes took over and worked with Shane Richardson back then doing all the branding with the black rabbits, white rabbits, all that stuff.
Well, it's funny because he brought you in. You was his first drop. He was your first pick. When he took over, you came straight in, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So now you're the Chief Executive Officer. I mean, I know there's a lot involved. I was fortunate enough to be at the Tigers for a little while and enjoyed every second of it. But you've got a big team and a big corporate team as well. Lots happen.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it is as a club we are definitely growing in all metrics, and we work really, really hard to make sure that we've got a great workplace with a very strong ethic and some key values. And really for us, we're out here at Campbelltown. This community, this region is so important to our long-term future. This is the heartland of Rugby League, and it's our responsibility to really grow the game out here and really produce a lot of talent. I'm really excited to see young Jared Haywood out here who's come through our system, and he's having a bit of a blinder out there. So, pretty excited about that.
Yeah, he's going well, Shaun. He's done a really good job considering he's come out there on his debut against this team. I mean, they're obviously second on the ladder, so it's a really good. He's done a really good job. Shaun, as a fan, I think I'm like anybody of the eighth wonder of the world. Can you give us an update in regards to there's obviously not going to be any more games that are going to be played there at Leichhardt? Is that for 2 years now?
Oh yeah, so for Leichhardt, it starts its renovations in October.
Yep.
And so we are hoping, we're expecting that it's back in the 2028 season. So whilst it might be about 18 months, we're hoping it's really only one season next year that we're down without Leichhardt. And so we'll play more games here and more games at CommBank.
And so those upgrades, what can we actually expect in terms of the actual upgrades themselves?
Yeah, so one big grandstand on the northern end that'll come through, so that'll increase the capacity, get another 2,000 people in, but the main grandstand itself is being gutted, new change rooms, new corporate facilities, better canteens, better toilets, and a fit-for-purpose venue, which is really important there at Leichhardt. Yep. And then in 2028, we're expecting the same here. So whether you see the scoreboard now, that'll be a large grandstand, again increase the capacity by another 2,500, and some more change rooms and better facilities.
Excellent, mate. Well done.
Well, as they say, from Leichhardt to Lamia, this is Tiger Town. You mentioned the juniors. I was speaking to Steve Noyce, and he tells me the figures are in the 6,000s of juniors that play in the participants in this district, the Macarthur district. That's a massive catchment area. Yeah.
In fact, with the Balmain juniors, Group 6 and West Macarthur, it's actually over 15,000 registered participants. So we've got a lot of work to do. It's a big region. You're right, Leichhardt to Lamia, Piedmont to Picton. We'd love to get the suburbs out there, but it's a big region. We've got a lot of work, and we have to make sure we are constantly out in the community, making sure they know who we are and what we're doing.
And Shaun, I'd like to ask you a question as well, because I know that you're a fan of the NRLW competition as well. How's my mate Craig Sandercock doing? He obviously had a great win last week against the Eels. How's he going?
Mate, what a legend. What a great attribute to the club coming in. Sandy and I, we talk every day that he's in the office and he can talk. But no, you know what? We had to start our whole NRLW program again and really give it a lot of meaning. And we saw that last week. A lot of hard work, not only on the field but off the field. And it's really important that our NRLW actually means something to this club. Those ambassadors and those women who take the field, they are the best opportunity for us to grow the game, and for them to put in last week was fantastic. And I think they actually, I don't want to jinx them, I think they're going into the game favourites tomorrow, and I think that's the first time I've seen them going into the game as favourites, so I hope it's not too much pressure on.
Yeah, it's been a couple of lean years, but yeah, like obviously you started well last week, and I know that with us Sandy in charge, I know that you've got a school teacher, as you know, and he's going to educate every individual there, and obviously you've got a great leader as well in Kezi Apps as well. Yeah,
that's right, and even the recruitment has been fantastic. So the new girls have come in, have made a big impact, and Shaun Stevenson, our general manager, worked really, really hard. We got a good squad.
Champion. She's brilliant. I was saying before that you've got so much history just with the West Tigers. I mean, I see the Balmain and West jerseys, and we'll talk about that another day. But you've got Johnny Scandala still involved with the club. You've got Chris Huntington, of course, Benji. So many of those former players are back involved, which I think must help the younger players as well, that they see that there's still great culture.
Absolutely. It's such a big and most important thing for us is our culture. It's one of our competitive advantages. When you look at the players that are attracted to come to the club, those players that are attracted to come and play for Benji and come and play out in this region, culture is so important, and we offer that to the marketplace, and we generally believe that we can take everyone on a good journey.
The Centre of Excellence, which was a great thing that the previous Chief Executive Officer put together, and it was a mammoth task, big $80 million or something like that. It is a sensational facility, and most clubs have taken that as the blueprint. I mean, that must say something.
Look, yes, it does. It's fantastic. That's great. But I'll be honest, we need more, because it doesn't service our pathways. It doesn't service the size of this club. So we'll be working very, very hard to make sure that we've got the facilities out in this part of town. We've got our offices at the university out here, but we need more to unlock this potential and this talent that's out there. So I'm sure you'll hear me banging on in the future as we look for a high performance centre for our pathway.
There are a lot of great benefactors in this area, in the Campbelltown, MacArthur district, and I'll mention the name Brock Schaefer, a terrific guy. He loves the club, and they all try and do something different. How do you harness them all together?
Well, you get them all together and you have a conversation. As soon as I get off this call, I'm going straight over to see Jimmy Marsden and thank him for his support that he's given. I'm going straight over to speak to Alan Buxton and Daniel Perkins from West MacArthur, who continue to support this region. And as we keep that conversation going, when they know that we are real, when they know that us as a club is taking this area seriously and it is our home, they will all get behind us and we will deliver.
Maybe you can also go and give a rap to my little mate, Shannon Gallan, who's obviously brought Jared Haywood through as well. I know he'll hate it, and that's why I'd like you to give him a rap, because it'll make him uncomfortable.
You're asking a lot for me to give Shannon a rap, but I'm sure he's got a new pair of Nikes on today. But no, seriously, Shannon is a big part of our plan. He's a big part of our recruitment strategy. He knows this region.
He's the mayor. He's the unofficial mayor.
Well, I think Scanio's got it at the moment. He's got to beat him in
Cherry
direction.
Mesher as well.
Cherry,
love you, Cherry.
Yeah. I mean, they're great names, and they've been involved with the club for such a long time. And we were only talking about Joel Kane before, and that the record could be broken. I think it could be broken very shortly. He's got one more point to get, Adam Dewey, to beat Joel Kane's record.
Dewey's such a legend. Wow,
and we've got beautiful parents too, and I say that with great affection. They're great people.
Yeah, that's right. Heart and soul people, and Adam represents him and everybody at this club so well, and it's so good to be out here tonight and really see the boys put up a fight. There was a while there you're going, oh, what's going to happen here, and they showed a lot of resilience, and Dewey was the one who really led him around there, which is great.
Fantastic. Shaun, It's an honour to have you here. Thank you for joining rugbyleague.com. Thank you for allowing us to broadcast. Most clubs don't, but the Tigers have always been that club that sees not just today, but tomorrow, next month and next year.
No, cheers, guys. Thanks for having me on.
We've got Darren Lockyer here. Darren, what'd you make of that? A player sent off from the bench? That's unusual.
Well, I needed to understand the rules because a player sent off, but they had 13 on after that. So I guess the rule is if someone from the bench gets sent off, it's 13 on 13 still.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I had to go ask the match commissioner. What's it like to be here and to see the team in action again? I guess it's weird watching from afar and then occasionally getting to come to games.
So this is my first time at Ebbsfleet. I like the atmosphere here today, and obviously the team played well. Doncaster's been probably the team that's tested this the most. So to be dominant in the first half, and then we had our challenges early in the second half, but to win like we did, 68-18 is a good outcome for us.
They got some gnarled old professionals, haven't they? If you, they'd have a few tricks up their sleeve in a final, you'd imagine. Those guys.
They're very physical, Doncaster, and that was probably the message that JD had for our boys today was you need to aim up physically, otherwise they'll challenge you. And there's some good tries scored today.
Where are you at with next year? What do you know?
Well, we don't know too much, and that's the next probably 2 weeks. We're going to know more. We obviously, you can see our intent. We want to be in Super League. We're making signings. We're winning well in the championship. We just, I guess, the RFL, they're probably a little bit in limbo at the moment. NRL has got the broadcast deal done now, so they can potentially invest in the Super League. But it's up to the RFL if they want to allow the NRL to invest.
So that's why 2 weeks, because you'll know more about the NRL and Super League. Is that why you say 2 weeks?
My gut feel is yes. I think the RFL needs to understand that there's a lot of teams, whether they're in the Super League or they're not, like us, that are in limbo about what's happening next year. The NRL, like I said, they've got their TV broadcast deal done, so they know they now need to budget where they put money everywhere, right? So, and I'm quite certain that the NRL has a desire to invest in the Super League and help the Northern Hemisphere. But we won't know that for the next couple of weeks.
Last question, and a tough one maybe. Can you do this for another year? Can you do a championship for another year if you have to?
Well, some things are out of our control, right? It'll be what it'll be. And I've always been, whether I was a player or in another capacity, you just deal with the cards that get dealt to you, right? Mm-hmm. And you just make it work. Mm-hmm. So in a perfect world, we're in Super League next year. The NRL's involved, their expertise, their capital, and it just supercharges the game in the Northern Hemisphere, which is a great outcome for the game. But if that's not to be, then we just have to work with the cards we've been dealt.
It's 14 degrees with a low chance of rain at Parramatta, our Combank Stadium. It's Penrith taking on the Brisbane Broncos. And let's start with the Penrith team. Penrith line-up. Into the Penrith lineup come Casey McLean, Isaiah Yeo, Isaiah Papali'i, Liam Martin, and Nathan Cleary, of course, after Origin. And so back to something, or back to full strength, pretty much. Aside from, I don't think Mitch Kenny's there. So aside from that, they're back to full strength. Dylan Edwards, Thomas Jenkins, Paul Alamotti, Casey McLean, Brian To'o, Blaze Talangi, Nathan Cleary, captain, Moses Leota, Freddie Lussick, Lindsay Smith, Isaiah Papali'i, Liam Martin, Isaiah Yeo, and the bench from Jack Cole, Scott Sorensen, Liam Henry, Billy Phillips, Isaac Tungo, and Billy Scott. And the HIA man is Sione Fonua. Let's have a listen to Coach Ivan Cleary talking about the question of revenge after the Broncos ended Penrith's run of 4 consecutive premierships just under a year ago.
Yeah, I don't know, not really. We've already played them once this year, so that was probably on our minds that night in round 1. just taking it for what it is. You know, I think the form ride's pretty much out the window for them. They're basically putting their best team that they can out on the paddock, and yeah, really exciting night, really exciting matchup. So yeah, hopefully plenty of fans get down there, and it should be a great game. Last year's last year. I mean, they got the rings, and there's no way we can take them off them. So this year's a new year, and all we can do is prepare our best, but understand that it's going to be a fair challenge against a very good team. So it should be a great game.
You're on Good Morning League fans. My name is Steve Mascor. This is rugbyleague.com, where too much league is never enough, and there's a big game coming up in the NRL in the hour after our show this morning. That is Brisbane visiting Combank Stadium to take on Penrith. And going into this match, how about the players the Broncos have but coming back all in one game? Adam Reynolds, Billy Walters, Ezra Mam, Josiah Karapani, Pat Carrigan, Payne Haas, and Reece Walsh. Incredible. Let's go through their full side from fullback. It's Reece Walsh, Josiah Karapani, Katoni Staggs, Gemat Shibasaki, Dean Mariner, Ezra Mam, Adam Reynolds, captain, and then Xavier Willison, Corey Pakes, Payne Haas, Brendan Piakura, Jordan Ricky, Pat Carrigan. The bench is Ben Hunt, Ben Talty, Preston Ricky, Grant Anderson, Var Semu, and Hayes Perham. And Billy Walters, who I mentioned, he's the 19th man. What is he? 1, 2. He's at 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's the 20th man. So he's a HIA guy. So let's have a listen to Michael Maguire, the coach, talking about, the question that if the Broncos lose this game, their season could be over.
I just want us to play the way I know they're capable of. But, what that will produce, that'll sort itself out. As I said, it's just nice to have the team back and to have, our senior players. And I can't remember the last time I've had Payno and Paddy play together. That's a great example of what we've been through. Both our sort of senior front rowers have had long spells on the sideline. So, let's just go and get stuck into the game. We've just talked about it. The fact that we've had a bit of change. As I said, I can look at games and I can see that we've really competed at times. At times, we probably look at it and go, there's areas of our game that we were disappointed with. That's the truth. But I've got a really hungry group that's rolling around training, and they want what everyone else wants. But for the players, if they play to their capabilities, well, I'll definitely put a fright across a fair few that are in front of us.
Welcome back to Good Morning League fans. My name's Steve Mascor. We now turn our attentions to Super League and a big game tonight, which you can listen to here on rugbyleague.com. It is Bradford at home to high-flying Wakey. Wakey are third on the table. They've had 13 wins and 5 losses. And the Bulls, in their first year back in Super League, are quite respectable 11th with 6 wins and 12 losses. And we're going to listen to coach of Wakey now, Daryl Powell, and he's talking about the absence of Max Jowett and also Seth Nicotemo before going on to discuss tonight's opposition, the Bulls.
Oh, I'm just mixing it up really. I think Seth is a different case. Seth has he's had to go home for a private matter, so Seth's dropped out for that reason, and Max is going to play in reserves against Wigan this weekend. So I just think with Max, he just needs to play. There's no specific reason apart from the team's going well, and at the moment Josh Rock is ahead of Max, and Max has got to fight his way back in and around it. So he needs to play well, and he gets an opportunity to do that this weekend. So I've watched the last 3 games. Last week they were too good for Huddersfield. Then in Magic, where they struggled a little bit against Leeds, and then the only game I've seen that they've played at home, because the dimensions are significantly different on that field, was against St Helens, and that was a tough game. Saints got away from a little bit at the end, but it was a pretty tough game, and they're dangerous if you sit off them and let them play. Lot goes through Mella and Ackers, obviously. I think they're a dangerous team. You know, I've seen some of what Kurt's been saying around David and Goliath and all that sort of stuff, but you know, we just need to play well. You know, I think if we play well, then we're generally not too far away, no matter who we're playing. And for us, the big thing is motivation and being consistent with it. I feel like we're pretty good in that area at the moment, but you don't have to look too far down the track. I don't think we didn't get everything right against Huddersfield, and you know, we're mindful of being consistent across the board. I thought the last couple of weeks we've been outstanding, and want to keep it in that sort of tuned up zone if we can.
Welcome back to the show. We're getting towards the end now. Hope you've enjoyed everything we've brought you so far. Let's go through the games, and it is an amazing weekend, one of our best ever on rugbyleague.com in terms of live commentaries. So, from tonight, 8 p.m. UK time, it's Bradford and Wakefield. Mick Gledhill doing the honours there, and Mick will back up tomorrow night at 8 p.m. For Huddersfield at home to Wigan. That's Friday night. And how about this offering on Saturday, 9 a.m. UK time? It's Longreach versus Barcaldine in the Central West Queensland Grand Final. Jason Costigan calling that game. And then we go straight to Accor Stadium with our own commentators for Canterbury and West Tigers. That's going to be absolutely awesome. And then 3 games back to back. From 3 p.m, Warrington v Hull KR from Halliwell Jones Stadium with David Kane. And then we've got Hull FC and Lee with Matt Horton and Ian Judson. And finally, Jason Costigan is back at the other end of the day for Toulouse and York. And 2 games on Sunday. We've got Sheffield versus Workington, Mick Gledhill at 1:30 p.m. And then Castleford and Leeds with Matt Horton from the One Ball Stadium at 3 p.m. You're not going to remember all that. So just go to our socials, facebook.com/rugbyleague.com or at Instagram, rugbyleague.com, or Twitter, where it's rugbyleague.com, and avail yourselves of that stunning program of matches we've got this week. And that's just about it on Good Morning League fans for this Thursday, the 16th of July. All that's really left is for me to tell you what's coming up the rest of the day on the station. 1 o'clock. Well, firstly, we're going to have score updates from Penrith versus Brisbane. I want to point that out and stress that. And then after at 1 p.m. today, we've got Super League 360 with John Davidson, and 40-20 is on at 3 with Richard Shaw-Wright and Phil Kaplan. Lee Addison, by the way, also does Super League 360. And then the Captain's Run with the Super League Raw guys is at 6 p.m. And then we have kickoff in Bradford up against Wakefield, live from Odsal Stadium at 8 p.m. with Mick Gledhill. And following immediately after that match at 10 p.m, it's the League Express show. If you are listening on the podcast, this is a live radio station, in case you didn't get that. It's at rugbyleague.com. I beseech you to come and join us and have a listen to what we've got going there. Rugby League, particularly between Thursday and Sunday on that station. If you are listening live, yes, there is a podcast. You can find that at WLF Kicks. WLF Kicks on your favourite podcast platform. And if you want to hear the podcast first, and before it is released on those platforms, and if you want to just support us because you like the show, then the place to go is patreon.com/WLF podcast. That's patreon.com/WLF podcast. That's it for now. I'm out of here. Thanks for joining us and have a great Thursday. Joining me from the Midlands of England here on rugbyleague.com is former first grader back in Australia and also over here in Europe, and Australian schoolboys representative Troy Perkins. Tell the listeners what you're up to now.
Yeah, mate, Rugby Discounts is what it's called. It specialising in all the latest NRL kit from Australia, whether it's jerseys, training T-shirts, training vests, training shorts, hoodies, most clubs are available. You can get me on www.rugbydiscounts.net. I've also got a Facebook page, Rugby Discounts. So very active on that, and Instagram as well. So best prices and the great quality NRL gear that is very difficult to get in the UK.
The Rugby League Coach podcast is hosted by me, Lee Addison. I'm a former coach at NRL clubs, a couple of World Cups. You may remember the USA shocking the world in 2013. That's one of them. I also coached Poland to an Emerging Nations World Cup and helped Ireland a few years ago too. I've also worked at 3 elite high schools in England, and I like to offer my coaching services for free on this podcast. It's a Rugby League Coach podcast, and you can get to it through rugbyleague.com, the world's first 24-hour online rugby league radio station. That's a Rugby League Coach podcast with me, Lee Addison.